Brainy Dose presents 15 psychological facts that will blow your mind. The field of psychology looks at the science of the mind and behavior. Studies trying to understand why we are the way we are have been going on for decades and will continue into the future. We're learning more and more each day, but there's still so much we don't know. Some study findings are more fascinating than others. Did you know that punctuating in your text messages makes you come across as insincere? Strap yourself in. You're in for a wild psychological ride. The following psychology facts could just explain or confirm some of the things you see in yourself or others. Number 1. If we have a plan B, our plan A is less likely to work. Scientists at the University of Pennsylvania studied the performance of volunteers on a certain task and found that participants who thought about a backup plan did worse than those who didn't. They also found that when participants realized they had other options, their motivation decreased. This is related to expectancy theory, which was developed by Victor H. Broom in 1964. Expectancy theory basically states that your motivation for something is a function of whether you expect to be successful at it. Inherent in a backup plan is that you're not going to succeed the first time around. Researchers say it's important to think ahead, but advise against getting too caught up in the details. You could inadvertently be sabotaging your success. Number 2, catching a yawn could help us bond. The workday has just begun and you're ready to get lots done. You're sitting at your cubicle during your morning meeting when the guy next to you lets out a big, loud, obnoxious yawn. Before you know it, you're yawning yourself, but you're not even tired. That's a response yawn. There are various theories explaining why yawns are contagious, one of the leading ones being that response yawns demonstrate empathy. This explains why young children that haven't yet developed a sense of empathy or those on the autism spectrum are less likely to response yawn. Number 3. We care more about a single person than about massive tragedies. In another University of Pennsylvania study, researchers examined people's behavior as it related to donating to causes based on certain stimuli. One group was shown a starving young girl. Objects. Pareidolia is the tendency to perceive specific, often meaningful images such as faces and random or ambiguous visual patterns. A common example is the man in the moon. Some scientists attribute it to the fact that as social beings, recognizing faces is so important that we'd rather create one where it doesn't exist than miss a real one that does. Number 14, people rise to our high expectations and don't rise if we have low ones. The Pygmalion effect is a psychological phenomenon in which high expectations lead to improved performance. In a famous study in the 1960s, researchers told teachers that random students had high potential according to their scores on an IQ test. They found that those identified as high potential students did end up becoming high achievers, at least in part due to their teachers' heightened expectations. Number 15, our brain doesn't think long-term. Deadlines are so important. Yeah. You could probably start on that big project for work or school now, but you've got several months. Before you know it, those months are gone and you're scrambling to cram months' worth of work into a matter of days. Urgent, unimportant tasks are more appealing. They provide instant gratification because they're quicker and easier to cross off your to-do list. Our brains process short-term deadlines like those measured in days better than long-term ones such as months or years. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends so we can keep making them.